3, go. Okay. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our online forum discussion titled on Exploring Effective Assessment Methods Beyond Written Tests. I'm Rishi, your moderator for this session. Today, we are diving into a topic that's increasingly relevant in our education system. While written exams have long been the cornerstone of assessment, they often fall short in capturing a student's full range of abilities. So, how can we redefine the assessment to be more inclusive, skill based, and reflective of real world learning? Joining us are three esteemed educators who bring rich experience from different level of education system. Let's begin our discussion. Okay, first, let's start with Miss Jana, a lecturer in higher education. So my question to you is, Miss Jana, from a higher education perspective, how effective are oral assessment and presentation in evaluating students' understanding of complex concept compared to written exams? The floor is yours, Miss Jana.
Thank you, Rishi. From my experience in higher education, oral assessments such as presentations, interviews, and viva, and actually they encourage critical thinking and enhance communication skills. Unlike written exams, students must articulate their understanding on the spot, which demonstrates real-time comprehension and application. These methods are especially useful in evaluating soft skills and the ability to synthesize information, something a static exam cannot measure adequately. So, from my experience, when I give them oral exams, oral assessments, they are to think on the spot, which will help them in real life. So, when they attend interviews, they are able to gain the confidence to speak in front to an interviewer. So these are some of the advantages why oral assessments or presentation actually works. So it actually prompts for a deeper understanding. While those days or maybe a few years back, written exams only often rely on students' ability to recall information. So in the Bloom taxonomy, we always use the first level, that is remembering, right? So, and it's always very structured. But with oral assessment, a lecturer can engage in a dialogue. We can ask follow-up questions to probe the students' reasoning, challenge their perspective or their assumptions, and identify any genuine conceptual misunderstanding. Where instead of writing and memorizing, we can find out what are the errors there. Why? Because it allows more nuance and accurate evaluation of a student's depth of knowledge. So it's not a one-way teaching, but rather a two-way communication where it helps the student. Also, it encourages higher order thinking. So I usually give my students project based where they work with real life with existing companies to actually tailor the structure, the organization communication skills there. So this encouraging higher order thinking is a dynamic nature of oral assessment where it actually drives the students to think on their feet and they have to evaluate information in real time and also articulate complex ideas coherently. This is a powerful way to assess student's critical thinking, their analytic and evaluation skills. So all of which are very essential for a true mastery of complex concept. So although a written answer might be a well-structured method of textbook, but oral assessment can reveal if a student really understands the why and how behind the information. So that's all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jana. All those were compelling perspective actually. I especially appreciate your point on real-time comprehension, an area where oral assessment truly shine. That's good. Okay, next we turn to Miss Anna, a passionate school teacher working directly with young learners. Okay, my question to you, Miss Anna, how do you implement alternative assessment in a classroom with young learners? And what challenges do you face in doing so? The floor is yours, Miss Anna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rishi. Alternative assessment is less focused on grades, and the focus is more on student process and thinking. One benefit of alternative assessment is it emphasizes on real world application and critical thinking. Okay, rather than asking our students to memorize facts, it's better for us to prepare them for the skill which they need later on during in the real world for the real world application. So alternative assessment, it also incorporates self and peer assessment. It promotes active learning and also self-reflection. In my classroom, I often use various types of alternative assessment. I use project-based learning. I use portfolios. Uh, Portfolios are collections of student work which showcase their progress and skills over time, including projects, writings, and reflection. There's also a type of alternative assessments such as self and peer assessment. Activities where students, they evaluate their own work and the work of their peers, fostering self-awareness and collaborative learning. That means by using this self and peer assessment, this type of alternative assessment, we actually we actually directing the learning process to the student themselves and to their friends who will be more comfortable, friends who might be at a different level from the student, and they can actually help them out on their learning process. And there's also other type of alternative assessments such as projects where it involves student in extended, in-depth exploration of a topic, often culminating in a product or presentation. And we have group presentation, we have role play activities such as assessment tool. So all this method allows students to explore their topic creatively and collaboratively. So alternative assessment, it explores different learning style and preferences in a bid to measure learners' abilities. I can also share to you some benefits of alternative assessment, such as it encourages students to go beyond memorization and apply their knowledge in meaningful ways. It increases their engagement. Means it makes the learning more relevant and enjoyable by connecting it to real world application and their interests. It also has diverse learning style, whereby it provides opportunities for students to demonstrate their knowledge and skill in ways that best suit their individual strengths and preferences. And there's also development of critical thinking and problem solving skill. So it challenges the students to analyze, evaluate, create rather than simply recalling fact, continuous feedback and improvement. It provides ongoing opportunities for students to receive feedback, reflect on their learning process, and make the necessary adjustments to their work. However, alternative assessment also comes with its setback. Okay, it has its challenges such as time constraint, because all of us need to agree that when we employ alternative assessment, uh, we're going to use the usage of time is going to be we're going to use more time. It comes to alternative assessment, the need for resources and ensuring fairness in group work. There's also concern about student motivation, lack of traditional classroom organization. That means when it comes to some alternative assessment, such as projects, group work, the teachers need to facilitate the discussion. They need to have guided discussion. Despite this, students What the studies have found that despite all these setbacks, students tend to be more engaged and retain knowledge better compared to tradition. That's all from my side, Mr. Rishi. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anna. That's a very practical insight, actually. I think many of us can relate to those classroom challenges, but it's also encouraging to hear how alternative method boost engagement and creativity. Let's now hear from Miss Tina, who brings a broader policy level view to the conversation. Okay, Miss Tina, my question to you is, what policy level changes or support system do you think are necessary to encourage the use of alternative assessment methods in schools and institutions? Miss Tina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Rishi, and warm greetings to all of you. Okay, that was an excellent question, Mr. Rishi. Okay, nowadays it is very important for us to look into it. Yeah, policy level changes and support system is both are very important for our schools and also institutions. So, as a district curriculum development officer, I believe the following policy level changes and also support systems are essential to promote alternative assessment methods. Actually, there are few alternative methods. Okay, so number one will be official policy institutions. So it's like we need policy documents like the DSKP. Okay, nowadays the schools, the governments are really very strict. They are looking into it. DSKP is very important for all the schools and institutions. Yeah, so we need this kind of documents, DSKP, to clearly require alternative assessments, not just written test. It is very important. So I can give an example. For example, include a rule that 30% of total assessment must come from methods like project work, okay, portfolios or presentation, something like this, not just based on the written test. So this is very important, one of the important policy level changes and support system. Yeah, number two will be teachers training and CPD. Nowadays it's seriously important. Trained teachers are really needed. Okay, like teachers need proper training to use these methods effectively. They really need proper training, Mr. Rishi. For example, I can say district can conduct workshops on designing rubrics for peer assessment or using platforms like seesaw for student journals. Another example, like invite experienced teachers, to mentor others in using project based learning. So all these are very important under teachers training and also CPD. Third will be curriculum time flexibility. Okay, teachers need time within the schedule to plan and carry out alternative assessment. You see, for example, I know all the teachers are very busy in institutions, schools. Okay, from principal to the teachers, all are very busy. They have a lot of works to do. But you see, for example, they can set aside 1 week, okay, per term for hands-on projects or oral presentation, especially in science or English. So this will help the students more. This part is very important actually. Most of the school they fail to do this thing nowadays. For them, curriculum is not really important. Some are you misusing this time. So I would like to say this is really very important. Yeah. Okay, number four, it will be infrastructure and tools. You see, schools need proper tools to support these methods. Many schools they does not have this actually, but I want them to realize actually this is very important. Infrastructure and tools are very important for all the students. This is one of the basic things. Okay, for example, tablets for recording video reflections, internet for uploading projects, or share LMS like Google Classroom for submission. My experience, sometimes I used to use Google Classroom, for share something, to share message, any announcement. This is actually very useful. So I believe infrastructure and tools are very very important to all the students in all the school and institution so they can develop this alternative assessment methods. Okay, next will be, I would like to say, standardized rubrics, also very important. You see, MOE or district should provide a clear, simple rubrics for fairness and consistency. For example, use a standard group project rubric for subject like civic education or moral studies that assess teamwork and creativity. This is very important. Okay, the next I will say very important. One of the important policy, parent and student awareness. Nowadays, parents have less awareness about this. My point is both sides, parents and teachers, parents and students, they must have equal level of understanding, equal level of the support system. They must have the equal level of awareness in this. You see, parents and students must understand why these methods matter. For example, host a parents day where the students can showcase their project work. Okay, this builds actually trust and appreciation for non-exam skill, so the parents will appreciate the students, the teachers will appreciate more hands-on work of students. This is very important. Yeah, parents and students both sides must have this awareness, not only the school, not only the institution. So for me, all these 6 points like official policy inclusion, teacher training and CPD, curriculum time flexibility, infrastructure and tools, standardized rubrics, and last but not least, parents and students awareness are very, very important for the essential to promote alternative assessment. These are the important methods we need to do. So I will say in a nutshell, with the right policy support, timing, training, tools, and communications, I believe that alternative assessment can become a powerful tool to assess real student learning. This is very important. I really believe this. So, as a district officer, we must lead by example and support our schools every step of the way. So, these are the very, very important and vital policy assessment methods, everything. So we must take note all of this. So that's all. Thank you, Mr. Rishi.
Thank you, Ms. Dina. You have touched on all the essential component and systematic support. Without professional development, time allocation, and resources, even the most creative teachers can feel stuck. It's clear that transformation needs both top-down support from grassroots innovations. Now, as we draw closer to the end of our session, I would like to ask one final question to all our panelists. Okay, so I would start with Miss Jana. Okay, my question to you is, in one sentence, what is your advice to educators transitioning away from traditional assessment? Miss Jana, the floor
Okay,
is
thank you.
yours.
Thank you, Rishi, for the question. Okay, so one advice I would give is to be open to experimentation. But first of all, the most important thing is that start with why, reevaluate your learning outcomes. Because it's okay if you want to have a written assessment, but what is it that you really want your students to learn? Do you want them to just simply memorize, or do you want them to go beyond than that, to actually develop something, or uh, to develop the critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, or the collaboration, and also like design new assessments. So like I say here is that be open and trust the process. So if you were to develop a new assessment, make sure it's authentic enough that it's yours, and you use various methods, because nowadays we have the upcoming generation, that is Generation Alpha. Their limit span is only about maybe 5 minutes or lesser than that. So yeah, trust the process, design new assessments, make sure it's authentic enough, and also be transparent with the students. Talk to colleagues, talk to someone, be transparent with the students, ask them what would they want, and then prepare them for their future careers and studies, because nowadays it's whatever we're teaching them, it's to prepare them for the real world. And also develop clear formative assessment, clear rubrics, and make sure that the students understand what are these rubrics for. So yeah, that will be my advice for the teachers or the educators.
Okay, thanks, Miss Jana. Now I would like to ask from Teacher Anna.
Thank you, Mr. Rishi.
Okay.
Alternative assessment is a teaching approach that uses evidence of student learning to adjust ongoing teaching and learning. It's not about grading or ranking students. It's not about giving marks to the student. Instead, it focuses on providing feedback that helps students improve their understanding and skills, and it also helps students to gauge uh, the stage uh, the stage of their learning process. Alternative assessment are crucial because they offer a more comprehensive and authentic evaluation of student learning compared to traditional methods like tests and quizzes. They engage students actively. They promote deeper understanding. They help develop essential 21st century skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and also communication. By focusing on application and creation rather than just recall, alternative assessments better prepare students for real world challenges. Because ultimately, as educators, our goal should be to prepare our students for the real world. That would be our ultimate goal, or that is the objective that we want to achieve at the end, towards the end. There also need to be a desire to better understand. Each educators, they need to have a passion, they need to have a desire to better understand the student learning, their progress, their journey. They need to know at which level the student are in, so that it can promote deeper engagement. We can have better communication, we can have better interaction with our student, and we also can prepare students for real world applications. We also need to reflect on how students respond and how they grow throughout the learning process. That's all from my side, Rishi.
Thank you, Teacher Anna. So now I would like to listen from Miss Tina.
Thanks, Mr. Rishi. My advice is very simple. Okay, like advocate of change, support one another, and remember that assessment just now, as Miss Anna said, it's not about giving marks. Okay, it's about learning, real learning. Okay, it's not only we can give marks based on their test paper, exam, all this. It's not about that. Okay, it is about real learning. So we have to remember that it's not about memorization. It is about real learning. Okay, so it should reflect on it. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Rishi.
Okay, thank you, Miss Tina. Okay, such powerful closing remarks from all of you. Educators today are no longer just knowledge providers. We are facilitators, we are motivators, and also we are innovators. This discussion has shown us that moving beyond written tests is not just possible, it is necessary to create more authentic learning experiences. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for your time, your curiosity, and your commitment to making education better. Let's continue this dialogue beyond this forum. Until next time, we keep assessing differently and teaching fearlessly. Thank you, Miss Jana, Miss Anna, and Miss Tina, for your thoughtful insight and meaningful contributions. As we come to the end of this vibrant discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on what we have explored today. From the depth of oral assessment in higher education to the creativity of alternative assessment in school classrooms and the need for structural change at the policy level, one thing is clear. Assessment is not just about grading, it's about growth. In a world that is evolving rapidly, we cannot afford to assess students the same way as we did decades ago. Rigid written tests may measure memory, but they often fail to measure critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, problem solving, communication, the very skills our students need to thrive in life. We are being called to rethink assessment not just as a final checkpoint, but as a continuous journey that values student voice, diversity of thought, and authentic expression. So, to every educator that is listening to us right now, let this be your call to action. Be courageous, be creative, and be compassionate. Start small if you must, but start somewhere. Observe, reflect, and adapt. More importantly, trust your students. They are capable of so much more than filling in the blanks on a paper. Let us strive towards an educational environment where assessments are no longer feared but welcomed because they celebrate learning, not just evaluate it. Thank you once again for joining us. May today's forum be a spark that lights a bigger fire of change in how we teach and how we assess. Until we meet again, let's keep moving forward together as educators that shaping the future. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Rishi.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.